You ever wonder how to pull crankbaits for crappie? Stay tuned. This video is for you. I'm gonna break down my whole setup on how and why I do things. Pretty one right there. Pretty fish. That's a howl grader. Yeah, I got one right here too. I knew something wasn't right with that. Another pretty good fish. I knew something wasn't exactly right. Old sun perch right there. Old sun perch. Here. Here, buddy, here. Get this fish put up, guys. I'll show you about the rods. We'll start off with that. So, on the rods, I like a medium action rod. I'm using a 7-foot one-piece Berkley Cherrywood medium action rod. Now, I've noticed I've had a people reach out to me from my last few videos saying they can't find this rod no more. I've had this rod for a long time, all these rods, and they may be discontinued, I don't know. But what you want is just a good 7-foot, 7.5 foot medium action rod. You don't want to, you would think, you don't want a light action because the tip is not, is really not stiff enough for the crankbaits. So you want a medium action rod. Heavy action is too heavy. You want a little give in your rod, so when the fish bites it, you know, a crappie is a paper mouth. When that fish bites it, if you don't have any give in your rod, it's just gonna jerk it right out of his mouth because there's no give. So that medium action is a good medium, happy medium right there to let the hook, you know, set up in the fish's mouth without jerking it out. So get you a good medium action rod. I think Sam's Super Salt by B&M's a really good one. You don't need nothing crazy. I got this one right over here. This is a Walmart combo over here, medium action. You don't need nothing crazy. Just, you know, medium action is all you want. There we go. I'm up here, pretty good fish here, guys. We'll talk reels now. Now that we went over the rods, we'll talk a little bit about reels. Pretty good male fish right there on Strike King 3XD. That's a pretty fish. That is a pretty fish. I like that. I like them 3XDs too, guys. Chartreuse shad, I believe what you call that one. We get this fish taken care of. We'll go over the reels. Pretty fish. So, reels. I like a baitcaster. Nothing crazy. This is a Quantum baitcaster. I got these things years ago at Grizzly Jigs. They're like $20 a piece. Nothing outrageous or anything like that. I do have two line counter reels right over here, and I don't love them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't love them at all. I think it takes too long, and I'm really not worried about being that precise. Like some people want to be exactly precise. I don't, and we'll talk more about that later. But I like a baitcaster because I get more of a controlled cast, further cast than I do with a spinning reel, I think. And also for catfish, you go and catch the catfish out here, let this boat get by. Maybe it won't be too loud, but you're going to catch the catfish out here when you're pulling these cranks. That's just part of it. And I feel like I can handle the catfish, horse them in a little bit better with this bait caster than I can a spinning reel. So that's why I like to go with a bait caster. And a lot of people say they struggle with casting them without backlashing. If you'll set it with these settings right here, from when you hit that button, if I can get this in the camera, and it just slowly starts to drop like that right there, it's not gonna backlash really. It's not gonna backlash. Now just take it, chunk it out there like that right there. We're fishing. That's a lot quicker than that line counter reel. I'm not real big on them. Maybe it's because the two I got, them Shakespeare's, I don't know, but I just like a good bait caster. There he is. There he is. Come on up here, buddy. Come on up here. Oh. Oh, he got off. I should have netted that fish. I do better than that. But we'll talk. Now that I missed that fish, we'll talk. Made a mess here. We'll talk fishing line. I use Berkley Big Game. It's what I use. It's cheap. It's $10 for a spool of it. It's all you need. And the reason why I use Berkley Big Game is because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of precision trolling out. I'll get that out in a little bit and show you about that. But all their data is basically based on 10-pound monofilament line. And you want to use monofilament line because you want a little stretch. You know, a lot of people use braid, and I've used braid pulling cranks, and I hate it because I tell you why. Just like I was talking about a while ago with the fishing pole, being too heavy and not having no flex, that braid don't have no stretch in it, and you will pull the hooks out of that fish's mouth. I'd almost say 50% of the time, I bet your hookup ratio is about 50% with braid, with cranks. And people probably would argue that with me, but I don't care. I've done it, and I know for a fact that I got a whole lot better hookup ratio with monofilament than I do braid and pulling. Now, if I was holding a pole or whatever, that's a little bit different because it's sensitive, but I'm not. I need the rod holder and the rod and the line to do the work for me and set the hook. And braid just don't work out good with that. So get you some monofilament. I like 10 pounds. It's strong enough. You know, I don't lose many cranks. I mean, people think you do. They're expensive, I know, but I don't lose that many. I mean, I probably don't average losing. I bet I don't lose one every 2 or 3 trips. You know, if you get your depth dialed in right, know what you're doing, you're not gonna lose that many cranks at all. So monofilament works a lot better than braid with pulling. You know, I'll argue that with anybody who wants to argue. Oh, get him right here now. Just got through talking about the fishing line, and I ain't even got that pole back out yet. Got one right here. I don't know what we got going on here. I got something else dragging back there I see on top. I don't know if that's a fish that's been hooked up that I didn't know about or what. It's a crappie here off sun perch. I believe what that is. He got crossed off in my line, and that's what's going on back there. Exactly what's going on. So I got a little bit of a mess going here. I've got a little bit of a mess dragging this fish here. I don't know what this is. This is a little stripe that's basically kind of been foul hooked, it looks like. So let me get all this back undone here, taken care of, and we'll talk baits. Cause that's I'm sure that's what everybody wants to know anyway, is the baits. All right guys, let's talk baits here. So here we go. If you see, I've got a little bit of everything. This is just what I've got some in the packs I just brought out just to show you. So I've got the Arkies, Bomber Fat-Free Shad, the new brush pile crappie. I've only used this once. I might put that one on. Wiggle warts. I love a storm wiggle wart. It's been around a long time and I've caught a lot of fish on them. Picos, everybody's favorite. Picos, I'd probably say everybody's second favorite. That's probably everybody's favorite. Everybody knows Bandit 300s and 200s when it comes to trolling crankbaits for crappie. My favorite is right there, the Strike King 3XD. That's my favorite bait right there, trolling cranks. I got more confidence in that. I feel like I can get that thing a little bit deeper than everything else, and I just like it. And if you notice, I've got most of my stuff, I keep it pretty simple. I don't get a lot of crazy colors. I like to keep it natural. A chartreuse, shad looking colors, what I like to have. Or crawfish, a lot of crawfish. Kentucky Lake's got a lot of crawfish in it, and the crappie will feed on crawfish. So I like a lot of crawfish colors, like that right there on that wiggle wart. But I use the precision trolling app on my phone here. Let me get this pulled up. I had it up. But see, like I can go to this Bandit 300. And if I want that thing 13 feet down, I hope y'all can see, I'm not sure. It just says I need 64 feet of line out the back. And that's with 10-pound mono. And then I can just go, if I want it 17 down, 131 foot out the back. I can get that Strike King 3XD down 17 foot with about 100 out the back. But I've got just about every one of my cranks I've got on this app right here. You gotta purchase the for each crank. I think it's like $1.99 or whatever. But it's been well worth it. And then once you get it figured out, you kind of can go on memory. You don't really have to use that crank. I mean that app as much. But that's what I use. And then I've got this box full of stuff, and this box is full, or not full, but it's got several in there. And just, I try to keep it simple colors. I do got some wild colors in here. You put them pinks on, you're gonna catch a lot of catfish. You just can't keep the catfish off of them with them pinks. But that's the deal on the baits. That's the business end right there. That's what it's all about. Everybody, you talk about the line counter reels and stuff. I don't really worry too much about that. And the reason why is because when you're looking on your graph, you'll never see these fish all at 12 foot deep in the line. Like you'll see, you're in 18 foot of water, those fish will be from 10 to 16 foot deep, just stacked up stages. So why would I want to be precise and run that bait exactly the same thing? That's why I don't worry about line counter reels. I just cast it out. Some of them are 50 feet, some are 60, some are 62, but it's putting them baits all at a little bit of different depth. I feel like I'm covering all the water column. That's very important. And that's another reason why I use different baits, because all of them run a little bit different. Some of them run deeper, some of them shallower. You know, some of them has a little bit more action to them. That wiggle wart, it really will dance. So, you ain't gotta be precise with this stuff, guys. I think a lot of things get overcomplicated when it comes to this. And I think it scares a lot of people off. Get you some decent equipment and throw them out there and take off. Cover water. You will catch fish. I promise you. You'll catch fish. Come on up here, buddy. Get on top of the water there. Oh, boy, up there. Oh, that's on the new, on that brush pile crank, guys. I just put that on. It's on that brush pile crank. First fish I ever caught off of that. Well, they will catch them. It seems to be running a little bit deeper than the rest of them. I think it's more on like a, it's bigger too. It's got a bigger, profile. I think it's more on like a Strike King 5XD range or something like that. The size of it anyway, so, and I'm pretty sure that's probably why it's running a little bit deeper. But it's bigger and it'll catch them. These crappie are bite big crankbait, guys. They will bite them in a heartbeat. Don't think they won't. You don't have to have the small crappie cranks and all that other stuff. Just buy whatever you can buy, whatever you can find. They'll bite all of them. They'll bite every one of them. Get my hands clean here, guys. I just caught this little grass weed deal here, and you hung that on crankbait, makes it float to the top, and it floated across all my lines. I had a mess. Got my little booger towel here. Get my hands clean. We'll talk speed. My sweet spot is 1.6. I will go up a lot faster than that. Seldom do I go slower. I have people ask me all the time, can you put weights on them to slow it down, to slow your boat down? And yeah, you can, but I don't want to do that. I want to be moving. I'm a pirate fisherman. I want to be moving. I want to be covering water, eliminating dead water. And so I don't want to go slower than 1.6. If I can catch them at 2.5 miles an hour, that's what I'm going to do. So I got lithium batteries, 1.6. I can run all day long on 1.6, 1.8. That's normally where I'm at, between 1.6 and 1.8, but I have caught them at 2.1. I got a good buddy that likes to pull it too. Get you a good trolling motor, put her on 1.6 to start out, and then adjust it from there. If you don't have one of them trolling motors, you can do it with the big motor. Get you a drift sock. And I can't get mine out right there, but last year me and my wife was whiz fishing a tournament, and we actually had a battery go out on us. Took a little while to figure out what had happened, but in the middle of the tournament, the battery went out on us, so I was able to salvage the tournament and us get a salvage the second place finish out of it because I threw a drift sock out the back, trolled with the big motor. My wife steered while I sat back here and fished, and we was able to salvage the second place finish in the tournament. I still feel if we didn't lose our trolling motor battery that morning, we would have probably, I think we'd have won the tournament because we was on some really good fish. But yeah, that's it. I like to start at 1.6 and adjust from there. I don't want to go slower. If I'm going slower than that, I might as well have jigs on the way I look at it. The faster you pull these things, the more they dig and get down there, and the deeper they'll get. So that's pretty much the speed deal right there. You know, you can adjust it however much you like, but 1.6 is a good sweet spot to start at. All right, guys, here's what I'm looking for on my graphs. So all these humps, these creek channels, I try to stay on the edge of them, get in them. Anytime you got a place like this, you got two creek channels meet. I got a waypoint right there. Anytime you got two creek channels meeting like it right there, you set up on the down current side of it, you're probably gonna have a ball of bait fish right there every time. So that's kind of what you're looking for. I do all my map studying at home, and I've got an idea where to start before I get there. But there's no secret depth. I might be in 10 foot of water, I might be in 24 foot of water. I just let the fish tell me, you know, they're not in the same place every day. You know, it's just some days I catch them in 24 foot of water, fishing 3 foot deep. Some days you catch them in 12 foot of water, fishing right on the bottom. You just got to go and figure out where they are and then adjust and go from there. But just kind of, if you'll start looking at your maps at home, you'll see the humps, you'll see the creek channels, you'll see all the different things like that right there, and gives you a good starting point. And that's where the fish are going to be. That's structure. That's visual structure what I call it from a map. You know, it don't necessarily have to be anything in the water, but it's a creek channel, it's a hump, it's a ledge. You know, that's what these fish set up on. That's where the bait fish is going to be, and that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be sitting there eating on them. Oh, get one right here. Get one right here. It's a pretty good fish. Bad fish. Don't let him get off. I should be netting more of these fish than I am. That's the old storm wigglewort I was just telling you guys about. Crawfish color. I think it's called red crawl, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But it catches a lot of fish. I like that wigglewort. And guys, I can't stress enough. Get you some needle nose pliers if you're gonna pull these cranks, because you're trying to unhook that treble hook with your fingers. That fish gives you one good shake like that right there. It can throw that other hook right into you, man, and that's pretty painful. You don't want that. Get you a set of needle nose to unhook your fish if you're pulling cranks. All right, guys, we're back at home. Unfortunately, my last couple of video files was corrupt and I couldn't salvage them. So I just want to jump on here and give a real quick touch point on what we covered. So we went over rods. We like a 7-foot medium action rod. You can use a medium light, but nothing lighter or nothing heavier than medium or medium light. Reels, I like a baitcaster. I explained why in the video. You can use a spinning reel, you can use a line counter reel. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you the most comfortable, that's the reel you should use. I do suggest though, whatever reel you use, you spool it with 10-pound monofilament. I use Berkley Big Game Hi-Vis. You don't have to use that. I just use that. I believe in that because it's strong and tough. It's got low memory and it's cheap. You know, it's readily available. That's why I like it. Baits, we went over all the baits. I like Strike King 3XDs, Bandit 300s. I also like the Wiggleworts. They're my top 3, but there's no wrong baits out there, guys. They'll all catch them. Whatever you got confidence in, that's what you should be using. Throw them, they'll catch them. Just zero in on your colors and your depths. That's the main key. I highly recommend the precision trolling app though. Like we covered, because that will shorten the learning curve on how deep that bait actually runs. So each bait that you got, whether it's a Bandit, a Strike King, Bomber, Flicker Shad, whatever, Pico, whatever it is, get the data from the app for that bait. I promise you, it'll shorten your learning curve and help you learn how deep they're running and everything else a whole lot faster. We went over speed. I always start at 1.6. I usually fall in between 1.6 and 1.8. That's a sweet spot. We can get up to 2.2. Not usually, but you can. Never slower than 1.6. If it's slower than 1.6, I feel like I should be pulling jigs. That's just me. Grouse, went over, depths and stuff. Just pay attention to your shad, your bait fish, what they're doing, how's your fish set up. Go over the creek channel ledges and the humps and flats and stuff like that. That's pretty simple. You know, you just read your graph, whatever it's telling you, that's what baits you should be using in the areas you should be targeting. So if I didn't cover anything that you guys was hoping I would or whatever, drop a comment below. You know, ask the questions. You know, comment on here, reach out to me. It don't matter. I got a pretty good network of people that pull crankbaits and long line trolls. I've got live scopers. I've got all kinds of network of people that I talk to on the daily to get reports and stuff from. So if I don't know it, maybe they'll know it. I'll try to run it down. You know, just drop a comment below and ask me, you know, and I'll see what I can't figure out. So I appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, y'all like and subscribe.